Hello, and welcome to our final in the series of pre-arrival webinars for new international students arriving to the University of Iowa in spring 2020. Today's topic is understanding orientation expectations, responsibilities, and placement tests. If you have not attended the webinar series before, we would like to let you know that this is an optional series provided to new incoming international students before they arrive in Iowa City. The objective of the series is to help new international students to arrange plans for travel to and living in Iowa City, to understand orientation expectations and responsibilities, and finally to transition to student life and academics at the University of Iowa. Just a quick reminder that all webinars are being recorded and we will post them on our website as listed on the slide, which is international.uiowa.edu/pre-arrival-webinar. If you encounter any technical difficulties during the webinar, please let us know in the chat function. However, if you have questions for our presenters and that are related to today's topic, please use the Q&A function to post your questions. We will definitely reserve some time at the end to answer those questions live at the end of the webinar. If you have not received your I-20 or DS 2019 immigration document, please remember that you still have to pay eShip Global shipping fee, so ISSS can mail you this document. Once you have your immigration document, only then you can apply for your respective visa. This information is also contained in the pre-arrival checklist in IHOC, and the address to IHOC is ihoc.uiowa.edu. If you still have any questions or concerns regarding your immigration document, please contact our orientation team at the email address provided on the slide, which is isss-orientation@uiowa.edu. Let's review some important dates. December 14th is the absolute earliest day to arrive to Iowa City. December 15th is a due date if you have a disability housing request. December 16th is the deadline for reserving the airport transportation with University of Iowa Student Government. They are arranging for shuttle transportation from the Cedar Rapids Airport or Eastern Iowa Airport to Iowa City and University. January 12th is the latest day to arrive to Iowa City because on January 13th through January 17th, we have a mandatory orientation for international students. This is the international student orientation conducted by ISSS, and we will have more details about this during the webinar today. And finally, January 21st is the date when we start the spring 2020 semester. Let's do some presenter introductions.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Title. I'm an Assistant Dean for Graduate Student Professional Development in the Graduate College at the University of Iowa.
Hello, my name is Brianne Schwartz. I'm an Associate Director in the Office of Orientation Services.
Hello, my name is Dan Wang Liu. I'm helping with incoming students.
Hello, my name is Jeff Noling. I'm an Assistant Director of the ESL programs here at the University of Iowa.
And my name is Andrea Siebenmann, and I'm one of the ISSS advisors and webinar coordinator for today. Let's quickly review today's goals. We will review orientation for graduate students as well as orientation, placement tests, and success at Iowa course for undergraduate students. We will help you learn about ISS's orientation, the schedule, and also participation expectations. And finally, we will help you understand the English proficiency requirements for undergraduate and graduate students. Again, at the end of the webinar, we will hopefully have time to answer a live question and provide answers. Let's begin with the graduate student orientation.
Great, thank you, Andrea. So, as I mentioned before, my name is Jen Title. I'm an assistant dean at the Graduate College. A little bit about the Graduate College. We are the college that sort of grants degrees in the end, and we assist graduate students through funding and fellowships and services broadly across the colleges. That said, at the University of Iowa, in graduate school, your department serves as your main home. So the Graduate College will offer assistance and guidance as a central location, but a lot of your day-to-day dealings and conversations, courses, assistantships will happen through your home department. So grad studies are decentralized at Iowa. Your department is really the main contact for you as a graduate student. So a lot of graduate students are very interested in assistantships, or this would mean either a teaching assistantship where you would teach our undergraduates here at the University of Iowa, or possibly a research assistantship where you would be working on research with a faculty member. And these assistantships pay a stipend as well as help you with your benefits here at Iowa. So the assistantships are negotiated and discussed with your home department. So it will actually be within your discipline that you'll be having this conversation. Coursework is also managed within your home department. And then professional development. This is broad at Iowa, and some departments have their own professionalization and professional development, things like helping you prepare for your career or learning how to write a grant. Some departments do not have that, in which case those students have access to centralized services through the Graduate College to help you do that work. It's important to note that there is not a central big graduate student orientation for the spring. That happens only once a year here at the University of Iowa, but you should be in contact with your program to see if they have some orientation procedures that would help you at the program level. And again, as you can see on that second bullet, we are always happy to help students. We work with a lot of graduate students at the Graduate College, and we can sort of serve as a secondary guide for you during graduate education. So my unit specifically helps with that graduate student professional development. 3 of our main areas include external fellowship and grant writing support. So during your graduate program, you'll probably want to start to learn the process of applying for funding to national funders and to smaller university funders. So this is the process of applying, writing up a proposal to fund the research that you do. And we help students learn to do the kind of writing that you need to successfully apply for and receive money. We help with career strategy, exploration, and planning for graduate students. So graduate students here at Iowa do not go to our undergraduate career center. They come either to their program and or to the Graduate College for support on career exploration and planning. And we actually, for international students, will still work closely with ISSS and with Pomerantz Career Center to help you with additional resources. And then finally, we have a program that is the Center for the Integration of Research, Teaching, and Learning. It's called CERTL for short. And this is a program that helps graduate students that are here at Iowa teaching learn to be stronger teachers, more reflective teachers, and better think about things like diversity and inclusion in their classroom practice, which is really, really critical if you plan to go on to teach as part of your career after graduate school. Iowa City is a beautiful city and a wonderful community to live in, and you will surely enjoy it. The process of settling in can feel a little daunting, I'm sure, before you get here, but there's a lot of people that are anxious and excited to help you out. So as you settle in, you can take a look at the UI grad guide, which was created by graduate students and maintained by the university. And the grad guide will offer you a sense of some of the places where graduate students live, eat, the things that they go do for entertainment on the weekends, the music they might listen to, other places where they could dance or enjoy the weekend. And those are sort of built into the grad guide. It is not comprehensive. It doesn't show all of the great places that we have here, but you can learn a lot about the city from a graduate student's perspective in that guide. And then as you can see at the bottom of that list, if you are coming with your family and you need childcare resources, that's also a link inside the grad guide. You can access the university's resources related to childcare and support in the community.
Thank you. And we're going to move to the undergraduate orientation.
Yes, thank you. This is Brianne again, and my focus is going to shift from graduate students to undergraduate students. We're going to talk about required placement tests and the Success at Iowa course. So all new students should complete their required placement tests as soon as possible to be ready for registration in the spring. And placement tests can be accessed through the admissions profile on MyUI. And in order to review what tests to take, you can check out the website newstudents.uiowa.edu on the placement tests tab on the right side of the page to help to figure out which ones you should take. And there are 3 types of placement tests that students can take before arriving to campus. And those are math, chemistry, and world language. And I'll review those 3 in more detail. So the math placement test is broken out into 2 different types. So if you have not taken calculus in high school or have not earned college credit for calculus, you should take the ALEKS, A-L-E-K-S, math placement exam. And this test takes about 90 minutes to complete. If you have completed calculus or earned college credit for calculus, you should take the advanced math placement test. And that test takes about 30 minutes to complete. Any student considering a major in engineering, the health sciences like biology, chemistry, pre-medicine, or the natural sciences such as environmental sciences, geoscience, etc., should take the chemistry diagnostic placement test. And that test takes about 90 minutes to complete. So if you are wondering which placement test you'll need to complete, or if your major falls under each category, again, check out that newstudents.uiowa.edu website in order to see if your major is listed there. Moving on to world language placement tests. I'll start by saying if you're interested in starting a new language, you do not need to take a placement test. If you have taken coursework in Spanish, German, Chinese, or French and want to continue taking coursework in those areas, you would need to take an online placement test prior to enrolling in your course. These tests take around 25 minutes to complete. And if you have taken a coursework in Russian, Latin, Greek, Japanese, or American Sign Language and want to continue in those languages, placement tests can be arrived in person once you're on campus. And again, to learn about the world language placement tests, you can also visit that newstudents.uiowa.edu website. And a reminder, if you are starting a new language, there's no need to take a placement test. You will just enroll in the entry-level course when you register for classes. So moving on to Success at Iowa, the required online course for all of our new undergraduate students at Iowa. This is for international and domestic students. This is delivered in 5 stages and gives you information on when is most applicable to you in your transition to the University of Iowa. We know that there is a lot to learn, and you can't learn it all in one day or one afternoon. So this is why this course exists. The class opens on December 2nd, and you should try to complete the first 2 stages of the course before arriving to Iowa City, if that's possible for you. You can access the course on ICON or Iowa Courses Online at icon.uiowa.edu. And you need to complete each of the 5 stages by passing the quizzes at 80% or better in order to move on to the next stage. So a bit more detail and some dates listed here on each of the remaining stages. The class covers topics that range from academic resources on campus to financial resources and information, transportation around campus and Iowa City, and information on how to transition into your new home here on the University of Iowa's campus. So stage 2, the second stage that we hope you complete before arrival to campus, will open on December 16th. And then stages 1 and 2, again, should be finished prior to the start of classes. Stages 3 and 4 open on the first day of class, and then stage 5 opens about 3 weeks into the semester on February 5th. The deadline for the course, all 5 stages, is February 21st. So this class will be completed within the first 6 weeks of the semester. Another reminder or something to note about this course is that the modules can continue to be accessed after you finish the course in order to provide you an opportunity to revisit information in the future should you need it. This is a great way to get started in again, getting acquainted with your new home, but also can provide some nice reminders if you'd like to revisit any important information as you go through your first semester here on campus. So again, you'll want to log into icon.uiowa.edu on or after December 2nd to begin the course.
Great, thank you so much. And we will transition into the International Student Orientation conducted by ISSS.
Thank you, Andrea. As you see, we have the orientation week for international students from January 13th to January 17th. And the purpose for having such a week is to support your transition to the campus life at the University of Iowa. There are a lot of academic issues you need to learn in order to start the semester. And we also talk about cultural adjustments and the immigration regulations and how to successfully maintain your status as a J1 or F1 student. And also, this is a good opportunity for you to get to know new students and someone you will socialize later in the semester. So several days that we need to emphasize, as we talked them, as Andrea has already talked about them before. Saturday, January 11th is the date when the residence halls will be open at 12 p.m. And so students who have contracts will, undergraduate students who have contracts will be able to move in on that day. And then they will have, you can have meal plans that started on the day. And also there will be daily rates, daily charges for your room until January 18th. Then is a Sunday, January 12th. That's a date you should arrive at the university in Iowa City and to the University of Iowa, and to start the orientation week next day. So those two are important days for moving in for undergrads who have already had residence hall contracts, and for graduate students to arrive on Sunday, January 12th. So it's for undergrads. So the orientation week starts on Monday, January 13th, and we'll have a welcome by the staff of the International Student and Scholars Services, and we'll have small group leaders that will share information with you about the university, about the week of orientation, and then the staff will talk about the immigration regulations. And so that's for Monday. On Tuesday, there will be English Proficiency Evaluation. Everyone will need to take that to be assessed for English. And Then also small group meetings, and the small group leaders will guide you for different activities, will share information, and will answer your questions about life at the university. Wednesday, we'll have a cultural adjustment session, where we'll talk about cultural adjustments and for all new international students. And there will be a lot of units sharing information on health insurance, recreational facilities, and also there'll be a chance to meet small group leaders who will guide you. The Thursday is January 16th is academics. Again, small group meetings, a small group meeting, and also the last day is a Friday with again with a lot of campus information, and so it's a full week of informational sessions, and that will be helpful for your life on campus. So the small group sessions, and we have recruited small group leaders. These are current students, both domestic and international, and who are pretty experienced, and who will lead different small groups you are assigned to, and to guide you through the week. And so they will cover all different topics, special topics, and they can answer any questions you have regarding things that we don't cover during the orientation week, such as how to the bus system in the city of Coralville, city of Iowa City, and the on-campus buses, and a lot of information you can be obtained from these small group leaders. And also they will have quite some fun activities for you to encourage you to talk, to ask questions, and so to get familiarized with the university. In order to successfully participate in the orientation, you will get your personal orientation schedule, and so you need to attend all the required sessions. And some sessions are optional, but the required sessions are very, very important. So there are a few sessions that are very important, like the English Proficiency Evaluation and the academic advising, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and these should take priorities. And so I guess the best thing to do during the week is to introduce yourself and get to know others, and make new friends with the new students, and with your student small group leaders, and for future resources and for your campus life again. So make sure you participate in all the small group meetings, and that will cover a lot of fields of your study. To look at your orientation schedule, you need to log into the portal, the ihawk.uiowa.edu, and look at the pre-arrival checklist, and you will see the orientation tab on your right, on the right of the screen, with a orange rectangle, and then you can click the Get Your Orientation Schedule, which is individualized, and to get it printed out even before you arrive. And so try to remember the days, the important days. And if you have any questions regarding your pre-arrival arrangements or issues, and you can always send an email to the orientation email we monitor. Is ISSS-orientation@uiowa.edu. And any questions can be directed to that email, and we'll try our best to answer and to provide the best information you can have. And that can be, disability and mobility accommodations, and like accessibilities in the dorms, in the classrooms, and so anything you want to have. So here are more resources on our website. It's international.uiowa.edu/new-students. And these are links of different topics for international students, both graduate and undergrad. And you can find a lot of information there in regard to your settlement, your arrival, transportation, see that housing and dining, and can be off-campus housing. And so if you navigate that there, you will find a lot of useful information for your arrival and settlement.
Okay, and we will move to our final part of the webinar today, to testing and ESL requirements.
Hi, this is Jeff Noling. I'm taking the place for Maureen Burke, our director. I'll give you the information about the testing process that you'll undergo once you arrive here on campus. We have this requirement for testing for a couple of reasons. Mostly is to ensure that you're going to be successful as a student here at the University of Iowa. We want to make sure that your English skill is strong enough that it won't be a problem for you in your coursework. Even students with strong English language proficiency sometimes face challenges in the classroom, so we want to make sure that you're not burdened with an extra challenge, so that all your language skills are up where they need to be. The requirement for the English proficiency evaluation is for any student who has scored below 100 on the internet-based TOEFL or 600 on the paper-based TOEFL. Now, the result of the test would be that you have to take some ESL credit coursework, but you will receive credit for those classes as elective credit that count towards graduation. So if you have less than 100, you must take the English proficiency evaluation. That will be during the orientation week. And as a result of that test, you will be placed in courses that you must complete as part of your work here at the University of Iowa. Some of them must be completed prior to enrolling in additional coursework, such as rhetoric, which is required by all freshmen here at the University of Iowa. Again, the reasons that you need to take this test is to make sure that your language skills are up so that you can successfully complete your degree program. And we're trying to identify areas of language skill that need a little bit more support. This could be in the areas of reading, writing, oral skills, listening, or grammar. And if you need help in one or all of those areas, we will provide coursework for you. And again, those courses do earn university credit. The test itself takes up pretty much a morning of your day. They'll be started off with a writing sample that will take 30 minutes to complete. Following that, the next part of the test is the reading, comprehension, and vocabulary, and that usually takes about 45 minutes. And then the last part of the main test is the listening test, and that's for undergraduates only. If you're a graduate student, you will take the first two parts, the writing and the reading, and then everyone again will have a 10-minute oral interview with faculty and ESL programs. So those are the components of the English proficiency evaluation. You can find more of this information on ESL Program's website, which is listed at the bottom of this slide. That's at class.uiowa.edu/ESL. Now, as a result of taking the English proficiency evaluation, possibilities are that you are cleared and you require no further work in ESL. You may be enrolled in one or more ESL credit classes. And if your score is significantly low, you will be enrolled in what's called ESL transitional courses. These courses do not earn credit, but you must complete these successfully before you can then take the ESL credit class that corresponds to that. So make sure that when you're taking the EPE, that you're providing the best work that you can, showing the strength of your language skills. We want to make sure that you're placed in the right coursework or no further ESL coursework if that's what you need. As I mentioned earlier, there are 5 different courses for degree students in the ESL Credit Program. Those are reading, writing, grammar, listening and note-taking, and oral skills. These classes, we found from following students who've taken them, help to ensure students' academic success. They provide a strong foundation and language support for the first year and beyond. And they help students sort of settle into the new learning environment. If you've been studying in your home country, sometimes it's not always in English, so this helps that transition become a little bit more smooth. It also provides a comfortable environment to ask about U.S. classroom culture. Your instructors are faculty members here at the University of Iowa, or in some cases, teaching assistants in the linguistics program. We'll also help with language-related questions for your other classes. For those of you that are graduate students and hoping to receive a teaching assistantship from your department, there are also a couple of tests that you need to take. If your department has offered you a teaching assistantship, that's the first step. And then if your first language is not English, you will have to have your English tested and certified as ready to teach in a University of Iowa classroom. There are 2 tests in this process, and it assures that your overall language effectiveness is strong enough that you will be effective in the classroom as a teacher. The 2 tests, you start off with the English Spoken Proficiency Assessment, or the ESPA. This is an oral proficiency test. It's given in the language lab, and there'll be about 12 or more students taking it at one time. It's sort of in an interview format, and you can find more information about that on the website. Students who have a TOEFL score with a subscore in speaking of 26 and a 25 in listening will be exempted from this first test, but must take the following test, which is the ELPT. So if you have successfully completed the ESPA, the first 30-minute test, you will then have a 10-minute presentation where you are giving a mini lesson. The audience, your students, will be faculty members in ESL programs who will be asking questions during and after the presentation. The presentation will be rated by 2 or more ESL faculty independently, and only your language is being evaluated, not your teaching ability, and not the content of what you're teaching. So students who have scored 60 on the ESPA are exempt from taking the ELPT and will be fully certified. So those are the 2 tests if you're going to be a teaching assistant as a graduate student here at the University of Iowa. Levels of certification depend on how you're scored in your ELPT. The top score would mean that you have the ability to teach courses here at the university. If you score a little bit lower, you may be doing work in your department, possibly grading papers, conducting office hours, holding discussion sections, or things like that. If you've taken these tests and you have not been certified to teach here at the university, we do provide some courses for you so that when you take those tests again, you'll be better prepared to be successful in those tests. These are in the Teaching Assistant Preparation and English program. And depending on what your scores are, you could be placed in a fluency building and culture course, one that focuses on pronunciation, or just one that focuses on presentation skills. So this would be for students that have passed the ESPA, but were not as successful on the ELPT. Other TAPE components in the program, if you have been certified and ready to teach in a classroom, we do have an orientation program. This is required for those who are going to be teaching. It's a way to form a community with other graduate teaching assistants and also recognize some of the help that ESL programs can still provide to you. There's also a follow-up program where all first-time TAs are observed in the classroom teaching. It's a way for them to get some additional support, suggestions, and to ask any questions of the follow-up person who is faculty in ESL programs. All of this is to help you become successful here at the University of Iowa, to have a good educational experience, and most of all, to make sure that you graduate on time.